He is responsible for one of the most legendary music venues in the world.
You talk about the Cavern and you've got to talk about the Beatles. John Lennon in there, he's on the Brandy Alexanders, wouldn't even let George Harrison in because he had jeans on. You never know who's going to walk into the Cavern. Paolo Nutini. Libertines played recently, that was an album launch.
Adele?
Sam Ryder, Eurovision. He can sing, he can hit the notes, but he can't pour a pint, that lad. He said, fucking hell. The Fonz has just rung up, asking for Jon Keats. The Cavern is all things to all people. It really is the past, present and future.
Welcome to Three Landlords Walk Into a Bar, brought to you by Heineken Smart Dispense. This is a podcast where we will not only celebrate one of the UK's finest exports, the pub, but we take you behind the bar, sharing the stories surrounding some of the UK's most unique, unusual, and incredible pubs and the people behind them. I'm Jodie Kidd, model, TV presenter, and automotive YouTuber.
And I'm Merlin Griffiths, the man that most people know as the bartender from First Dates. But what a lot of people probably didn't know about both of us is that we both own and run pubs of our own.
We do indeed. Miles, before we get our guest in today for our fifth and final episode of the series, we're talking to someone from one of the most iconic music venues in the world, the place where the Beatles cut their teeth, where the Rolling Stones, Queen, Adele have all played. A place with history, energy, and more stories than we could possibly tell in one podcast. He's the director of operations and music at the almighty Cavern Club and pub. His name is Jon Keats, and we will be speaking to him in just one moment.
John, welcome.
Yes!
Hello, nice
Thank
to be
you.
here.
So excited.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yes.
So obviously the Cavern, absolutely legendary. What makes it so special in your eyes?
At the heart of the Cavern, it's always got to be about the music. And it's interesting because the Cavern of today, and we'll rewind because it's like we're coming up to our 70th anniversary soon.
Really?
It's a place of pilgrimage for not only Beatle fans, but music fans in general. I've got a quiz question for you. How many times did the Beatles play the Cavern?
I know.
You know.
Oh, you know.
Have you done your homework?
There they go. She's good. But I'm going to say it's got to be in the hundreds.
Try 3.
292. So it was a 2.5 year period. You talk about the Cavern and you've got to talk about the Beatles. You know, I always say, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those 292 gigs. And it put the Cavern on the map because everybody wanted to play the Cavern after that, and it's still the same now. But it's not, the Cavern story isn't just about the Beatles, and we're, as owners, as custodians of it, it's our job to tell the whole story and keep the story moving. But they did their last gig August 63. The Stones played there in November 63. Again, because, the Beatles played it, and they had crossover with management as well.
Yeah.
They played it. Everybody's played it,
Question. Who would you rather see there, though? Beatles or the Stones?
Stones.
Yeah, I was Stones. I was Stones.
But it was, would you rather see the Beatles at the height in the Cavern or Elvis?
I would be Beatles. I would have to say Beatles because it's at the Cavern. And that's
what
just
was you say the same?
Yeah, as tempting as Elvis is, yeah. And if I'm given a choice, honestly,
and
just
we're
musically,
also British. We're British.
I prefer
We're
the
loyal.
Beatles over Elvis.
But I was asked the same question, and I did go for Elvis.
Did you go for Elvis?
And you've just asked me about the Beatles and Stones, and I
And you said the Stones.
But
so
that's probably because I love the Stones.
That's your everyday.
Yeah, and it is. I'm the biggest Beatle fan in the world. You'd have to be, but it would be great to see the Stones.
Tell the listeners a little bit more about the venue. I mean, what's the maximum capacity? Do you do food?
The floor print of the Cavern, the footprint of it, occupies about 70% of the original site.
Right.
It's on the same address as well, which is important. It's got 2 stages, 2 rooms.
Yeah.
The iconic front stage is, where you see the footage of the Beatles. That room, probably about 250.
250.
Yeah. The Cavern Live Lounge, which is our second stage, is great because it's quite a flexible room. You can lay it out different vibes completely in there. From 150 fully seated up to 350 with everything out and a proper rock gig going on there. We've also got the Cavern Pub. Now, we opened the Cavern Pub. Cavern Club opened, as I say, 57. We took over it. We got the club in 1991. And we opened the pub in 1994.
Right.
And the reason we opened it at the time in the early 90s, we had a vision of what we wanted to do and get the Cavern back to what it should be, what it is today. In terms of as a tourist opportunity, live music venue, a relevant live music venue. But it's almost like the city had to catch up. Liverpool had to catch up. We were coming out of the 80s, but there just wasn't enough people there. So we opened the Cavern Pub, which was a smaller version, just to be more, efficient.
And would you have artists?
Yeah. It's our third stage now, and we market it that way as a third stage. There's live music there every night. But we did that to attract the locals.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, at the time, we couldn't just do the club
wait for the big
and
events.
wait for tourist trade. It wasn't there. So what happened, as it's like scales, as Liverpool got busier, as the Cavern got busier, then we were capital of culture in 2008, which is a game changer.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that it just kept on getting busier and busy. So the Cavern's open now. The club itself's open from 11 o'clock in the morning until the end, and the live music's non-stop.
I mean,
Do
that's
these share the same site? Are these all or the pubs separate somewhere?
The pub's
else?
over the road.
Pubs over the road. Right.
So they're all on Matthew Street, which is our famous music street.
so you can
good music.
throw a stone.
Yeah, they're over the road, and we opened a restaurant as well in
a restaurant
2018, which is right opposite the Cavern. So it's like we've got a triangle of venues, so which is great to manage because they're all within reach, and they're all in all of the three venues. You get an element of the Cavern experience. Okay. You know what I mean? They all celebrate what we do.
So Jon, Jodie, right? I've had this sort of thought that, your pint as a publican is honestly, it's like your business card.
It is.
It's your calling card. We don't need bits of paper. We just need perfect pints.
How good is your pint?
How good is your pint? How good is yours then? Because you still have to use plastic glasses in venues, no?
We do and we don't really. So let's break it down. We've got three stages. The Cavern Pub is always glass. The Cavern Front, which is live music all the time, we do actually use polycarb.
Right.
As we do. We use polycarb in the club throughout, and that is because we are so busy.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't keep up with the breakages.
Yeah, it's practical.
It is. And occasionally we do have to go to disposable, very rarely, when we have like big rock and roll gigs. So it's polycarb. But you're talking about the pint, it's still a good pint, and that is where Smart Dispense comes in. I think we've had it for 10 years across all the venues.
Amazing.
So at least you know that the pint is spot on.
Yeah.
And so there is a slight compromise in the Cavern, but I think it's worth it because it's the whole experience.
Yeah.
And it's never really questioned. You know what I mean? Yeah. You still get a great pint. It's not like the old days of music venues where it'd be a warm pint.
Exactly.
No, those venues do exist. My son is in a band.
Don't mention any names.
No, my son is in a band. And I've been to gigs watching them over the years. And you go to these venues and you think, oh, really? It's like a can poured into really.
Oh no! Stop it!
But I like that about your pint as your calling card, your business card,
It's
our
true.
reputation. We have this huge reputation, the Cavern. So we can't be serving rubbish beer.
What is your favourite time and your
Favourite place to drink a pint?
Well, I'm a musician.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So I would say after I've done a gig, I don't drink on stage. But if I've done a 2-hour gig, good gig, and I worked hard, and I don't just phone it in, it's the pint when you come off stage. The other one would be, now I've got 2 children, and it's 18 months in between them.
Oof.
So I'm in the 20, 21 now.
Yeah.
But when they were young, so when they were babies, that's when I discovered the Lonely Man pint. And I do like a Lonely Man pint.
Yeah.
And it was, when the kids, you're exhausted, you're knackered, you're ringing Indian takeaway.
Yeah.
And of course, you're going to hunt to get that food.
Yeah.
It's the little pint before you're picking that pint of sanity away from the kids.
Yes.
I'm just going to get the Indian, and that pint, as I got accustomed to it and enjoyed the Lonely Man pint, I'd go out like an hour before the curry was even ready.
Got longer
I'm just
and
going
longer.
to get the curry. I'll be back. So that was
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's the lonely man pint when you've got young kids and you're going to pick up the food.
I like that. But it's actually really nice to have, just silence and just to really enjoy your little drink, at the end of the day. And you just don't have to talk to anyone.
Yes.
And you can just be just you and your pint.
The countryside, we call that walking the dog.
I love
You've seen them, they come in.
No.
Well, if you can combine the two, then you're onto something, aren't you?
What is, you must have so many, it's such a ridiculous question, but what is your favourite story?
Not long after I joined the company about 18 years ago, so I'm in the office and I'm booking the music. You never know who's going to walk into the Cavern. And we get a call, and Bill, one of the owners, is, okay, I will do it. Puts the phone down. I said, what's that? He said, oh, it's typical. He said, apparently the Fonz has just walked into the Cavern pub. Before he'd even finished his sentence, I was out the chair. I grabbed my jacket, which just so happened was a black leather jacket, although it was pleather. But let's not dwell on the pleather. Yeah. I grabbed my jacket. I said, I'll sort it. I'll look after him. I ran down, and it's like 33 steps, 3 levels down into the Cavern. So I'm exhausted. But I go, and I get in there, and there's the Fonz. He was my childhood hero.
I know.
When I was 10, I thought it was the Fonz.
What was he doing in Liverpool?
Well, he was doing panto.
Was he? No.
He was. He was playing Captain Hook in Peter Pan. So I went down. I said, Henry. I said, I'm John from Cavern. I said, it's really nice to be here, and he's a really lovely fella. And he was renting an apartment around the corner from the Cavern.
Brilliant.
Huge Beatles fan. So he would call in quite a lot. But not particularly a drinker. He'd come in over half.
Undercover.
But all the staff used to got to know him and all that.
Oh,
and
amazing.
But I said to him, this is brilliant. I said, well, good luck with the show. And I sent him a card, a good luck card a Christmas card, good luck card for opening night from everyone at the Cavern. It was a Cavern card. Yeah. And I put a little note in it saying, oh, by the way, if you fancy, we also run the Beatles Magical Mystery tours in Liverpool, the big, the replica buses.
You're the best. Yeah.
I said, if you fancy a tour while you're in Liverpool, because they're there for like 6 weeks, give us a shout and I'll book, get someone to, get in touch with me and I'll book you on. Anyway, fast forward, Christmas, it's New Year. I go back after the break because I get Christmas and New Year off. Sorry about that.
Lucky. All right for some.
I know that's the payoff for not being hands-on. But I went in and there was a problem in the club. And I get a call, I had to run down there. I came back in there. And as I walk in there, one of the guys going, yeah, I will do. He said, fucking hell. The Fonz has just rung up asking for Jon Keats. Oh. And I was like, what? And he's rung up and he said, hi, can I speak to Jon Keats, please? And he was ringing. Such a lovely. He was ringing to say, thank you for the kind invite. I couldn't make the tour. But it's been great to get to know everybody. Please wish John and his family all the best for the new year and stuff. The Fonz rang me in my office and I wasn't in. Best day of my life until someone pointed out I was married with 2 kids. So it's now officially the 4th best time of my life.
4th best time.
There you go. That was a long story, but it's the Fonz, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
That's such a good
Henry
story.
Winkler, man.
But you never know.
Legend.
We get that all the time, all joking aside. That's the fact that it's like I love the Fonz growing up.
Yeah.
But you do get everybody comes in there, and sometimes you don't. They'll just turn up.
And this leads into sort of the differences in how you treat your clientele, I suppose, right? Because clearly you're a tourist venue.
Yeah.
But you must have regulars.
Absolutely, yeah.
And some of your tourists also, as you've just said, include rather notable people as well. Yeah. So that seems that's a lot of different things to manage, balls to juggle.
Yeah, it is, I suppose. But I think we're so used to it. It's we're used to it on every level. You can only be led by the you might be think you're trying to shield this celebrity from some, everyone mobbing them, and then you'll get other ones that go, oh no, it's fine. But if you've got a big artist performing, that's different. If they come in on their own accord,
that's a different thing.
Yeah,
that's almost their decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but if they're in there performing, doing, because we still get a lot of big name artists.
It's unbelievable. Adele, she was
Well, she launched 21 there.
Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah. That was one of those ones where you get a phone call. Now she'd had success with 19, so she's big enough. That was big enough at success anyway. But 21 obviously took it to a different level. But I remember taking that call, and it was through Smooth Radio, Smooth FM, I think it was called then. And they rang up and said, would you be interested in hosting this intimate gig with Adele? And you're like, yeah. But they're the phone calls you just wait for, 120 people, Q&A at the end of it. She did 4 tracks off 21, I think, and 3 off 19. But
Wow.
those songs, like Someone Like You, there was just her and the piano player and the guitar. We'd never heard the songs, obviously, but you just knew. You
Head
knew.
blown.
Yeah.
And in such an intimate environment as well.
Yeah. And she was lovely as well. She was really, she really was lovely.
It kind of almost makes me a little bit sad that, when I was growing up, there used to be so many kind of music event places, and I'm seeing them just disappear. Yeah,
we're involved with the Music Venue Trust, which is a trust that came out of COVID, really. And it was, the whole industry, as we know, stopped overnight. And our business, we've got the Cavern Club, the Cavern Pub, restaurants, bus tours. We do a Beatles festival. It was all affected.
Yeah.
But the Music Venue Trust got together to try and help music venues, and it's grown into much more now. It's about getting onto the government about what the government are going to do. It's practical help to the venues. No, but it's
not an easy one to navigate.
I know. I've been in the House of Commons the last 2 years with the Music Venue Trust.
Amazing.
In the January for they put their yearly report out there, and they've got MPs involved there. It's all about highlighting the issues. It is, we're losing so many of these, as I say, grassroots music venues. There's less and less places for people to learn their trade. I don't know if you notice it. I see it in Liverpool all the time. There's so many more buskers on the street. There's less and less opportunities for new bands because new music, new bands doesn't make any money. Doesn't put money in the till.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are trying to learn their crafts through busking.
I think it's
and you see all sorts.
Amazing. Yeah, and what I really love is these open spaces where they have, a piano in the middle of a train station or something. But it should be, up to places and venues to support young artists. And we've got an amazing guy that lives by me, young kid, singer-songwriter, absolutely does everything himself. He's so talented. Can he get a job? Can he, it's so tough. And if you haven't got places that you can go to, it's
Yeah, but it's really difficult because it's expensive. Musicians need to make a living too, but we also need to make a profit.
Yeah.
So before we go to a quick break, I'd like to hear both of your answers I'd love to know the biggest do's and don'ts that you do at a pub gig.
The most thing to do is engage in what's going on the stage.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can do is ignore the artist. And the worst thing you can do as well is try and get on stage. Which happens, especially in a pub gig. When I'll use our pub for as an example. It's a small stage. It's a smaller version of the club, but it's a low stage, very easy just to step on there.
Yeah.
People have had a few drinks and they
think that they're...
they suddenly think they're part of the act.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Confuse it with karaoke.
That's the worst thing you can do, yeah. Think that you're at karaoke and think you can just jump up.
I think, when you're in a really small environment, all the people that hold... this is the same as probably Wembley. All the people that hold up phones, be present.
Yeah.
Look at what's in front of you rather than...
I'll tell you what's worse than the phones, when they hold up the iPads.
Oh,
you seeing that?
Huge screens.
And you're like, really?
Oh, no
really?
way.
I've seen it in the Cavern a lot because it's the tourists are there. With iPads, it seems like having an insult to injury.
That sounds like a topic for the next
half. For the next half. All right, we will be back right after this. Welcome back to Three Landlords Walk Into a Bar. We are here with the brilliant Jon Keats from the iconic Cavern Club in Liverpool. We always start the second half with the same question. And before we go back to the Cavern and talk about the amazing traditions and how you keep them alive and what the future looks like with the Cavern, I want to know what your dream round rotation would be. And this would be, okay, you're lock-in at the Cavern. No one else is there apart from 3 people that you get to choose, either dead or alive. Who would they be and why?
Part of me would say I'd like to have a pint with my dad because my dad's no longer with us. And you know when you think, oh God, I wish we'd have sat down. But he wasn't very rock and roll, my dad. So probably that would be more likely me and him in a nice little boozer. Aww. In the Cavern, a lock-in. I'm a big John Lennon fan.
Yeah.
I'd say John, even though I think back in the day, he didn't drink that much. But when he famously in the 70s had his lost weekend when he basically went on the ale for 18 months with like Harry Nilsson and that he left Yoko and moved to LA. So I don't think he was very good. But let's go back to, we'll put John in the mix because that could be interesting.
During that period.
Yeah.
During that 18 months.
Well, he was into Brandy Alexander's famously there, which is a fantastic drink. It's a great drink. Whenever I come to London, Bill's one of the owners, we always used to go to Galvin's on the window at Hilton.
Yes, love.
And always would have a Brandy Alexander to John.
What a view.
Any excuse to John.
What a view.
So we'll have John Lennon in there. He's on the Brandy Alexanders.
Yeah.
There was a rumour that Jimi Hendrix played the Cavern.
No way.
Oh. Yeah. Well,
How can no one
it's one
know
of those.
that?
It's one of those weird ones that did he or didn't he? Well, we say he didn't because we've never been able to prove it. He's not on the back of the T-shirt. He hasn't got a brick in our Wall of Fame. There's talk that we've looked into this, obviously, that he was playing the Empire, the big theatre, and he came down there and he had a row. He had a row with his girlfriend in the car park outside. There's all these stories, but we've never. So let's put Hendrix in there.
Yeah. Well, there's always something to a rumour, isn't there?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So let's put Hendrix and Lennon.
Wow.
So we need a peacemaker now, don't we? We need someone who's going to calm things down.
It's going to be an interesting
We could put the Fonz in there, couldn't we? He's such a nice. We could put the Fonz in there, or we could put Elvis in there.
Elvis in which of his phases?
Well, let's put Elvis in there then. In the 70s, I don't know if you've seen there's a film that was out recently, I can't remember what it's called, in the last 5 years, a biopic of Elvis, but it was a certain period when it was probably 1972 when he was trying to join the FBI as a secret agent. This is Elvis.
So this is before the white suit part.
No, it's within that. It's within that, yeah. Right. And it's a great film. It's dead quirky, but it's based on truth as well. That's Elvis amazing. He was trying to become a special agent for the FBI.
This is just absolutely brilliant.
And he actually got a meeting with the president. With Nixon. Brilliant. He got a meeting with Nixon. Yeah.
I mean, you would never have guessed. He would have been a really good little...
Can you imagine?
Yeah, spy.
So, but this film, if you check it out, it's really funny. So let's put Elvis when he was trying to be an FBI, in that interesting period there, which is quite quirky. Elvis, Hendrix and Lennon.
That's a good one.
How does the legacy of the club affect the artist's choice? I mean, how do you update and evolve? Are you not just beholden to playing Beatles style or English style music there?
No, not at all. The beauty of the Cavern, I mean, you know the way we have like strap lines and all that. I mean, it is the Cavern, the most famous club in the world. That's what we call ourselves because it's quite hard to argue against it. But one of the other ones that, you roll out these things, but there's truth in it, the past, the present and the future.
Yeah.
If the Cavern just stayed in the past, it'd be so easy for you to just have like Beatle band after Beatle band. Yeah. We do have that, absolutely. But without the other, no one night in the Cavern is the same. You can go in the back room and you might have, I don't know, these are the things that do happen. You might go in one night and there's a Brazilian samba band who are visiting, who are playing it, because our reach is huge. We're just about to open a Cavern in Sao Paulo. So Brazil's a huge market. But that's one example. Next night, it might be a local school or a college doing their end of term showcase, which is all young musicians. The other day, I think it was yesterday, for example, we had, they come every year, 15 years, Solihull Music Services, okay? And they will bring 150 young musicians, and they can be orchestras, brass bands, rock bands, folk bands, and all these kids descend on the Cavern, and it's a takeover. So and again, it's new music. It's new. It's the next generation of artists.
Yeah.
That's how we do it. And also, especially over the last 3 years, we've had quite a lot of big names of more current names doing small, intimate like album launches.
Lovely.
Which a lot of them are doing now. And they will do that in the Cavern because the artist wants to play the Cavern.
Can you name them? Which ones?
Libertines played recently. That was an album launch. Circa Waves, Paolo Nutini.
Love that. Good-looking chap.
Wonder Horse. Are you onto Wonder Horse?
Yeah,
The kids will be onto that. Scouting for Girls. I'm trying to go through. I've got an area in the Cavern Lounge with all signed albums. I'm trying to go around the room. Sam Ryder, Eurovision. Brilliant story with Sam. He's brilliant.
He's the best.
Well, he did an album launch there. He did 2 gigs back to back, little stripped down acoustic things, sold out.
What a voice.
He did that, and then a few months later, it was Eurovision, and it was in Liverpool, if you remember.
Yes.
So he was heavily involved in the promo for that. He performed on the actual night on the Saturday. But on the Wednesday, his manager got in touch with me and said, Sam wants to do something Eurovision week in the Cavern. Great. He did 3 shows back to back, which I thought was he was exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah, he must have been. That was Eurovision week, wasn't it?
But he's such a hard worker. He deserves every bit of success.
He really does.
Because he really works hard.
Yeah.
But he did the Saturday. And again, his manager, because we were joking, it's almost like Sam Ryder. He's almost become a resident musician. Can't get rid of him. And his manager got in touch on a Saturday afternoon, said, is there any chance we can come down for a bit of an after show drink after Eurovision? So he ended up coming back, and we gave him the back room on a Saturday. Our Beatles show finishes at midnight. They took over at midnight, and him and his party were there till like 6 a.m. And we've got these great photos behind the bar of Sam Ryder with a staff badge or a guy who's called Sam who works for us pouring a pint. I have to say, pouring a bad pint. Yeah. He can sing, he can hit the notes, but he can't pour a pint, that lad. But the Cavern is all things to all people, and it really is the past, present, and future. Otherwise, we'd just be a museum. I always say the Cavern will be here. It's what Stratford is, Shakespeare and Stratford, Beatles, Liverpool, Cavern. It's only going to get bigger. And it's about that shared experience of the music. Yeah. We like to concentrate on the music and let Smart Dispense look after the ale. You know what I mean? I always say that, but that is the beauty of our venue, of a good music venue. It's the music and the drink.
Gosh, I could just talk to you forever and ever and ever, but we're going to have to draw to a close, sadly. But I want to ask you one last question. If you were on a desert island and you were only allowed 3 different songs, being in the industry for so long, having such iconic bands play, which 3 would you choose?
There's one song that I listen to, and especially on headphones, but it's quite, and you wouldn't think this, Temptations, Just My Imagination. That's got to be in there. One of them, it's beautiful, the harmonies. Yeah. That's got the Temptations, Just My Imagination. Yeah. Elvis Presley, talking about Elvis, I'm a huge Elvis fan. It's a bit morbid. It's actually it will be the song, my funeral song as well. And it's the one they bring me in. It's really dark, isn't it? Elvis Presley, it's called If I Can Dream. And it is about if I can dream of a better land and a better world that we live in. And it's quite political. It's to do with the Vietnam War. It's the first time Elvis really sang a song of any meaning. But it's just a beautiful, and the vocal performance on it is it's outrageous. So, okay, I've got those 2, which both quite melancholy. Yeah. I would go to Crosby, Stills and Nash. I've got to have Crosby, Stills and Nash in there. And I'm a big fan of Crosby, Stills and Nash and Simon and Garfunkel. I'm quite.
Well, what are you going to choose between the 2?
Let's go with Mrs. Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of Simon and Garfunkel in there.
Wow. I'm going to go and literally go next door and listen to those on my way home.
Yeah. We say, here's to you.
Yeah.
Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you so much, Jon.
Yeah, cheers.
Honestly.
Cheers.
Good luck. Sorry, I'm going to get my hand out.
Chin.
Chin. Thank you so much. I mean, my head is just blown that you have this little venue in the middle of Liverpool that have had the likes of the Beatles, the Stones, Adele. I mean, the list goes on. Queen,
I know, they're brilliant. Have you seen them before?
No.
I've seen Queen.
Really?
I have, yeah.
Oh, no.
I see. Anyhow, that's another story for another time. John had all the best stories today. And you know, the takeaway here, I think, is that if you can do it as a venue, don't forget about live music, because it used to be such a crucial, an essential part of pub life, and it is dying out. And I think we need to protect the arts, support the arts where possible. Yeah. Good music's good for the soul.
It really is. And I think going to somewhere and just sitting down with your friends and just switching off and letting someone else take over with the music and the entertainment, and also, you know, how many people have started from just playing pubs and clubs and all these little places. And, you know, we've got to keep it alive. And thank God John and the team and everyone at the Cavern are doing that.
With nice crispy cold pints now, rather than warm, horrible ones.
Exactly. Oh, Merlin, that's so sad, because it brings the end to our chat with lovely John and to the end of the series of 3 landlords walk into a bar. I really want to say thank you to all the listeners. But Merlin, first I want to say thank you to you, because you are a legend and I love you. And I've just had the best time sitting here and getting to know you. And I can't wait to get you down to the Half Moon.
Bless you, Jodie. Thank you. Likewise. Honestly, you've been magic. Absolutely magic. And I've enjoyed every single second.
I know. It's been a very, very special podcast, and very honoured to sit next to you. And
warn your chefs. When I get going, right?
What are you talking about? Are you eating?
2 starters, main,
you're going
triple desserts at least.
Oh dear, we're
going round the houses and through your menu. I've heard about it.
Oh, well, thank you to you so much for watching and listening to our show. Do make sure you follow us on your podcast app and on YouTube.
There are 5 episodes of this series, so please do make sure you've checked them all out. It's been so great to sit and enjoy a pint with some of the UK's most unique and interesting publicans. Yeah. And if you want to drop us a nice comment or a review as well, then we would be so grateful. But for now, from Jodie
and Merlin,
cheers.